Okay, in the first video, I told you that these three lines mean that you're getting a definition. So, anytime you see that, it's a definition. Now, add-ins. These are numbers that are being added. Then sum, which is the same thing as total, is the answer to an addition problem. I want to apologize up front. My handwriting stinks. And unfortunately, it's something that I have to deal with, and since you're having to listen to me, you get to deal with it too. Note, when adding numbers that are in columns, which you should add them in columns, if a combined place value adds to more than 9, bring down the digit that falls in that place and carry the next digit to the next column. I've already written our problems down just for time's sake. 3 plus 6 is 9. That's just one digit, so that's good. 1 plus 4 is 5. Again, one digit, which is good. 7 plus nothing is 7. Then we could check this. The opposite of adding is to subtract, so we take 7, 5, 9, minus 46. 9 minus 6 is 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. 7 minus nothing is 7. We got the first add-in that we had up here. So we know that we've done it correctly. And of course we haven't learned subtraction yet, so this is just an introduction to that part. Then 5 plus 9 is 14. We carry the second digit of that down, and we carry the first digit of 14 up. Now 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 8 is 15. Carry the 5 down and the 1 up. Then 1 plus 3 is 4, and 1 plus nothing is 1. Then for this last problem, 1 plus 8 is 9. 3 plus 7 is 10. Carry the 0 down and the 1 up. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. Carry the 2 down, carry the 1 up. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 6 more is 11. Carry 1 down, carry 1 up. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 4 more is 7. Then 1 plus nothing is 1. Notice I put a comma here to separate the ones period and the thousands period. But you notice in part B, I didn't put a comma. The choice is really up to you. Both are correct. Now the addition property of 0. I am going to go ahead and start introducing you to variables. Okay? A plus 0. A could be any number from negative numbers to positive numbers. So whatever you start with, if you add 0 to that, you get back what you started with. Well, what if I start with 0 and then I add some number to that? Well, again, you still get that number. Then the commutative property. If I start with a plus b, which is, it could be 2 plus 3, it could be 4 plus 7, doesn't matter what the numbers are. If I start with a plus b, I can also add them as b plus a and still get the answer. Just like 2 plus 3 is 5, well, 3 plus 2 is also 5. And there's a little story that goes with this. At the beginning of the day, I commute from home to school, and at the end of the day, I commute from school back to home. Now, with the associative property, this gets a little trickier. If I have A, then plus B plus C, That's the same thing as if I'd have taken a plus b first and then add c to that. So I need to give you a little example of this one. So if I start with 5 plus, and then I say 2 plus 1, well, that's 5 plus 3, which is 8. Well, what if I start with adding 5 plus 2 first, and then add the 1? Well, that's 7 plus 1, and guess what? They both give me 8. Now the story that goes along with this one is A came to a party by herself and she met this couple B and C. Well, by the end of the party, B decided to associate with A and left poor C out in the cold. Poor C. Don't you feel bad for her? Then difference is kind of like sum, except it's the answer to a subtraction problem. Almost run out of room. Then minuend is the first number in a subtraction problem. And guess what? Subtrahend is the second number in a subtraction problem. Not anything big right there. Now, minuend is always the first number, just like M comes before S. Minuend comes before subtrahend. Now with add-ins, you can switch their order, and it's okay. But you can't do that with subtraction. So, there's a note here. You need to subtract the numbers in column form. If a digit in the minuend is smaller than the digit right below it, you have to borrow. So 3 minus 2, that's good because that's 1. 9 minus 5 is good because that's 4. And then 8 minus nothing is 8. Well, you can check this by taking the difference or the answer and adding the subtrahend. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 4 plus 5 is 9, and 8 plus nothing is 8. And since I got what I started with, the answer is correct. Now 35 minus 35, he who has it gave it all away, and there's nothing left. Then 543 minus 29, there's where we're going to get a problem, because 3 minus 9 I can't do, so I have to steal from the 4, that makes that a 3, and then I add it to the 3 at the end to give us 13. Now 13 minus 9 is good because that's 4. 3 minus 2 is good, that's 1, and then 5 minus nothing is 5. And G is also going to be a problem because 0 minus 5 gives us problems. And on top of that, I can't steal from nothing. So I have to steal from this 8. And remember to subtract 1 from that to make it a 7. Then we add it here, but we're not done because we got to steal some more. So that becomes a 9, and that becomes a 10. By the way, stealing is only allowed in math, and only in your subtraction problems. Now, 10 minus 5 is 5, 9 minus 7 is 2, and 7 minus 2 is 5. Then 70 minus 0 I'm not going to write, because if I'm subtracting nothing from it, it's what it started with. Then polygon is a simple closed figure, and I'll explain that in just a moment. Perimeter is the distance around a polygon. Now, if someone or a problem asks for how much fencing is needed, it's always, always, always applying to perimeter. Again, this is something that never, ever, ever goes away, as long as you're in a math class at least. Now, this polygon is a triangle. Notice none of the lines cross over any of the other lines. And when the sides join, there's no gaps. So simple means that the lines don't cross. Closed means that the sides come together completely. Now, to find the perimeter of this triangle, we take and add these four sides. So for the triangle, we take 7 plus 5 plus 4. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. Notice I didn't put my units in the problem, but I did put my units in the answer. Now, a rectangle, again, triangle has 3 sides, rectangle has 4 sides that meet at 90-degree angles. That's what these little boxes mean, is that it's 90-degree angles. Now, the rectangle has how many sides? You got it, 4. So just because I have only 2 numbers showing doesn't mean I only add those 2. Because if this length is 11, this length below it is also 11. Then if this length, which is actually called the width, is 5 feet, then this other side is also 5 feet. So I add them as 11 plus 11 plus 5 plus 5. I could also write it as 11 times 2 because there's 2 of them, plus 5 times 2 because there's 2 of them. And that gives us 22 plus 10, which is 32 feet. Again, I do have to put my units in the answer. Then this last figure is the same as a rectangle. The only difference is that all 4 sides are the same. So I don't just have one length, I have all 4 of these equaling 3 centimeters. So for my square, I can put 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or I could shortcut it to say 3 times 4, which gives us 12 centimeters. And that's the end of part 1.